The LA Lakers have won their record equaling 17th NBA championship. Now, this is the Lakers' first title in this decade, and they won it by beating the Miami Heat in the finals of the 2020 NBA championship. They won the series by a scoreline of 4 games to 2 in a 7-game series. Now, this by any stretch of the imagination was not a straightforward championship for the Lakers, although they were touted to be one of the favorites, in fact the favorite team to lift the title come the end of the season because of the kind of dominance that they had shown throughout the Western Conference in the league stage. But it has been an emotional roller coaster for LA Lakers as a franchise. Earlier in the year, in January, they had lost an icon player to a horrible accident. Kobe Bryant and his daughter, along with 7 other basketball players, were involved in a heavy helicopter crash, which resulted the loss of an icon in the sport of basketball. Everyone from the coach, from the players of the Lakers franchise stood with the Bryant family and dedicated this entire championship run to Kobe Bryant. Now, apart from that, it has still been a very tough season for each and every team, not only the Lakers. They were playing in a bubble. They were away from their families for a long period of time, especially after the NBA restarted after the pandemic. So that has also taken its toll on these players. There were no fans to egg them on. That entire atmosphere of an NBA game was missing, although it was recreated as best as possible by the organizers, but it wasn't the same. Then there is a lot of racial injustice going on in America, for which, and across the world, and for which a lot of these NBA players stood up against and were fighting that battle as well. So it hasn't been a straightforward season by any stretch of the imagination, but the LA Lakers have come out on top. At the center of it all was their star player LeBron James, who has now won 4 NBA titles with 3 different franchises. He won 2 with Miami Heat, he won 1 with Cleveland Cavaliers, and he is now won with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was also awarded the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player. This was the fourth time that LeBron has won that award, and in the all-time list of the players with the most number of NBA Finals MVP awards, he is now second and only behind the great Michael Jordan, who has 6. He's also become the first player in the history of the NBA to win the Finals MVP award with 3 different franchises. Talk about being one of the best in the game, and arguably one of the best in the history of the sport. Many would still argue that he hasn't won as many championships as say for a Michael Jordan has, but there is still a lot that people can argue for his case as well. He now has the most appearances in playoff games. He's played 260 playoff games without even missing one in his entire career. That is a staggering stat to have for yourself. Now with this, the LA Lakers have now won 17 NBA titles and are now tied with the Boston Celtics with the most number of titles in the history of the NBA. The point can be made that the LA Lakers are the most successful franchise in the history of the NBA. Why? Although they have won only 17 titles, which is the same number of what the Boston Celtics have, but the LA Lakers have played the NBA Finals a record 31 times, which is almost 10 more than what the Boston Celtics have played. So, LA Lakers win this year's NBA championship. The season draws to a close. It has been a roller coaster ride, from excitement to heartbreaks to many other things that happened in this season, and it has been a very, very fun season to watch. And for me personally, someone who was not very much involved and watched basketball this season, completely was beautiful to get involved into the sport of basketball. That's it from the world of NBA for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more.